What if I told you that the difference between a delicious snack and, well, a trip to the hospital literally comes down to a few invisible chemical properties? Oh yeah, it's true. Grab your safety goggles because starting right now, I am your new science lab partner. In this explainer, we are teaming up to crack a massive mystery: acids, alkalis, and the hidden power of the pH scale. We're going to learn how to view our everyday world from the fruit bowl on your counter to the bathroom cabinet entirely through the eyes of a chemist.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Picture this. We are standing at our lab bench and we have two clear liquids sitting right in front of us. Let's call them Beaker A and Beaker B. Now, one is plain old water and the other is white vinegar. The catch? They look completely identical. Now, if you're making fish and chips, you definitely want the vinegar. But if you're just incredibly thirsty after gym class, taking a giant gulp of vinegar would be a really nasty surprise. So as smart science students, how do we figure out which is which without actually tasting them?
Listen. Here is the absolute golden rule of our laboratory. We never, ever taste mystery liquids to figure out what they are. It is simply too dangerous. I mean, what looks like innocent water could actually be a super harsh chemical. So instead of risking our taste buds, scientists use special chemical tools to do the detective work for us safely. We call these little chemical detectives indicators.
And that brings us to our absolute superhero tool of the day, the universal indicator. Now, this isn't just your average chemical test. Some basic indicators kind of only do half the job. They simply tell us if a liquid is an acid or an alkali and leave it at that. But the universal indicator, it goes way beyond that. It's a superhero because it tells us exactly how strong or how weak that substance actually is just by changing into a very specific color on what's called the pH scale.
To put that into perspective, let's compare it to something you might have heard of before: basic litmus paper. Litmus paper gives us a super simple yes or no. It turns red for an acid and blue for an alkali. It's basically like a simple light switch. But the universal indicator acts like a superpower. Instead of just saying, hey, I'm an acid or I'm an alkali, it gives us precise strength levels. It's the difference between knowing someone is tall versus knowing they are exactly 6'2".
When we drop that universal indicator into our test tubes, it is literally like decoding a rainbow. If the liquid turns a deep red or orange, watch out, you are dealing with a strong acid, somewhere between pH 0 and 3. If it turns yellow or light green, it's a weak acid between 4 and 6. A perfect bright green, that means it's totally neutral, right at pH 7. And if it swings over to the blue and purple colors, you have definitely got an alkali on your hands.
Now, if we map our everyday household items onto this colorful pH scale, we get some pretty wild surprises. Down at the extreme red end, we have serious danger zones, like car batteries and even our own stomach acid. Moving up into the yellow weak acids, we find kitchen items like lemon juice and our mystery liquid from earlier, vinegar. Right smack in the middle at pH 7 is the safe, completely neutral water we drink. Then, we cross over into the blue weak alkalis, things like baking soda and soap, before ending up at the extreme purple end with strong, dangerous alkalis like bleach and drain cleaner.
You know what's really interesting here? It's realizing that acids aren't just bubbling away in some cartoon mad scientist's flask. They're literally all over your kitchen. Naturally occurring acids are often found in the fruits we eat, like lemons and apples. That's exactly what gives them that sharp, sour taste. But beware, they're also hiding in our favorite sugary fizzy drinks. And of course, we walk around every single day with a strong acid right inside us, our stomach acid, working tirelessly to digest our food.
On the flip side, if acids are often our foods, alkalis are usually our cleaning heroes. We use weak alkalis like baking soda when we're baking cakes, and we lather up with slightly alkaline soaps and body washes to get the dirt off. But remember those extreme ends of the scale we just talked about? The strong ones, like bleach and drain unblockers, are incredibly powerful chemicals. They are highly corrosive and require serious caution and respect when being used at home.
So what happens when these two opposing forces actually meet? What happens when an acid goes head-to-head with an alkali? We get a chemical reaction called neutralization. Think of it as an epic chemical combat. When an acid and an alkali mix in exactly the right amounts, they actually cancel each other out. The acid loses its bite, the alkali loses its power, and together they reach a peaceful, totally neutral state.
Let's see how this builds into the absolute coolest recipe in all of chemistry. We call it the golden equation. Step 1, start with an acid. Step 2, add an alkali. Step 3, watch them react to form salt plus water. Now, a quick heads up for my lab partners out there. In science, a salt isn't just those tasty white crystals you sprinkle on your fries. It's actually the general scientific name for the brand new chemical that gets made when an acid is completely neutralized.
When you see this chemical combat in action, it's pretty mind-blowing. Pouring a strong red, acidic liquid and a blue alkaline liquid together magically creates a perfectly neutral green solution. And this isn't just a neat visual trick. It's incredibly useful in real life. For example, if you get stung by a bee, the venom is highly acidic. That is exactly why it burns so much. But if you put a mild alkaline substance on that acidic bee sting, it triggers this exact chemical combat. It neutralizes the sting, turns it into harmless salt and water, and stops the pain.
All right, lab partner, pop quiz time. Here's a wild question for you based on everything we just learned about this epic neutralization combat. Why on earth would eating a nice piece of cheddar cheese be a great idea right after consuming a bunch of highly acidic food or candy? Think about the chemical combat. Take a second and see if you can guess it. Did you figure it out? The answer lies right there in your smile. Your mouth actually has its very own pH level. When we eat sugary foods and chug those fizzy drinks, we turn our mouth into a highly acidic environment. And as we know, too much acid can severely damage and decay our teeth. Well, it turns out cheese acts as an alkaline. So eating an alkaline food like cheese actually helps to neutralize that dangerous mouth acid, canceling it out and saving your precious enamel. Chemistry to the rescue.
Before we pack up our beakers and wash our hands, let's look at the symbols on these bottles. You'll often spot this big orange irritant cross on household products like bleach. So remember our golden rules for home. Never ever taste a mystery substance. Always check your cleaning items for warning labels and understand that strong chemicals, whether they are acids or alkalis, must be handled and diluted carefully and always by adults.
So I want to leave you with this final thought. Next time you open the cupboard under your kitchen sink, what are you going to see? Will you just see a boring collection of cleaning supplies, or will you look at it through your new superhero lens? Because really, it's an entire chemistry lab of acids, alkalis, and potential neutralization reactions just waiting to be safely understood. Keep exploring, keep asking amazing questions, and I'll catch you in our next explainer.